Silva and Pernell Whitaker getting set for the second fight of this afternoon's card. Pernell Whitaker, 15 victories, and he comes in at about just under 138 pounds. He is the second-rated lightweight in the WBC, WBA, and IBF. And there's his challenger this afternoon, Davey, Montana. Davey, Montana. And Davey...
out of Reno, Nevada.
Yeah, a poor man's Roberto Duran in look and in style, but he comes in this afternoon with a chance maybe to pull off a tremendous upset. It's not likely. He is the heavy underdog at 19-8, 10 knockouts, Davey, Montana from Hamilton, Montana.
And a big year for Sweet Pea Whitaker. You know, in 1986, he broke his hand, he broke his foot. Kind of a fragile kind of guy. The pride of Norfolk, Virginia. He's fought there many times. We believe, according to my stats, that this could be the first time that Whitaker has fought professionally off the continent. We're not sure, but we think it is. Of course, the championship fight, the BC fight he'll have with Ramirez on March 12th, 1988, will be in Paris, France. And so it's a nice opportunity for Pernell to get the feel of things abroad, and David Montana will certainly get the feel of Pernell in a couple minutes here.
Pernell Whitaker, one of the Olympians, the class of 1984, 9 gold medal winners, including lightweight Pernell Whitaker. He already has the USBA and NABF championship, and he's zeroing in on possibly a BC or an IBF or a BA belt. But early on, it was Montana delivering a couple of shots to the body as we begin this fight from Paris, France, the Omnisport Palace.
It was back on March 28th, a 12-round war with Roger Mayweather, John, that many people felt Pernell Whitaker really came of age. He put down Mayweather in the second round of that fight. Mayweather rallied late and put Pernell down in the 9th round, but Whitaker came on in the 10th, 11th, and 12th and won those 3 rounds and won the fight quite impressively. They felt that was the coming of age of Pernell Whitaker, a guy who was as highly touted, many feel, as Mark Breland coming out of the 84 Olympics. But as I said, had some injury problems, hurt his hand a couple times, broke his foot, put him back about 3 or 4 to 5 months, and right now many feel he's progressed as much as any boxer has in 1987 and showing pretty sharp here. Good defense and a big left.
Entertaining early on is Pernell Whitaker, and he's been accused of having soft punches and maybe a soft chin, but a lot of that attributed to the injuries, as you say. Davey Montana on the left, having lost to Bobby Chacon, the former featherweight champ, back in '85. Later on, Montana beat John Meekins in '86. He's 19-8 with 10 knockouts.
Yeah, Pernell is a guy a little unorthodox when he starts swinging wildly. The fight with Mayweather, he kind of landed some blows, and his last fight officially was on July 25th as far as a good fight with Miguel Santana. He had one fight between that, but that was the last good workout for him. He took out Santana in the 6th round. So many people feel he's improving his punching power and his accuracy and being a little more serious. He was kind of a showboat when he fights in Norfolk in front of his fans. He gets a little kind of a hot doggish. But with the competition upcoming for Sweet Pea, he will not be able to play around anymore. And on March 12th, with Luis Ramirez standing right in front of him, there'll be no way that he'll be able to take Ramirez lightly.
Less than a minute to go here in round 1, and Pernell Whitaker showing all the angles. A totally different fighter from Jose Luis Ramirez, and we saw in our first bout, meeting John refused, and Ramirez landing a shot right there. Davey Montana in the black trunks on the left.
They've worked with, actually, Whitaker right on his right. He's got a thunderous left and a nice jab and stuff like that, but they're working on his power in his right hand, so he'd be a more accomplished fighter. We'll be back at end of round 1 here, and Ramirez looking sharp, as I said, and accuracy, pretty good for a guy who hasn't fought for a couple of months.
Yes, buckling the chin there, Davey Montana. That draws some applause from the fans here at the Omnisport Palace in Paris, France. Pernell Whitaker and Davey Montana from Paris, France. Hugh, you were over in Paris to see Virgil Hill, and you look at the class of '84. Hill was a silver medalist, of course. The bronze went to Holyfield. Pernell had his gold, but out of all the gold medal winners, the silver medalist, Virgil Hill, whom you saw over in Paris, may be the most impressive. He's a light heavyweight, and we have seen him here on Score a couple of times.
Right, Holyfield by far and away is the best of the class, and he won a bronze, as you mentioned, and Hill's made great strides, and he, along with Whitaker, had a big year in '87, fighting often and looking impressive, and more importantly, upgrading their competition. You know, they came out of the Olympics, and they threw them some dogs along the way, some get some meat to get a good workout and build up their press clippings and their record. Right now, they're building up the competition, and as I said, on March 12th when he fights Ramirez, I guarantee you it'll be the toughest fight that Sweet Pea will ever be in, and there's no guarantee. Although he is favored by some, it's hard to really pick a winner in that fight.
Davey Montana with his Roberto Duran impression. A poor man's Roberto Duran, we'd have to add. In the first round, going to Pernell Whitaker.
Easily.
Do you see a Meldrick Taylor in the future for Pernell Whitaker?
No, Meldrick, Lou said Meldrick can't make 135. He'll be fighting as a junior welter, and right now I think a lot of people are avoiding Meldrick Taylor. Some great hand speed at 140 and a very thick and strong kid. And I think the Dubas will try to avoid the Duba camp participants fighting each other. You'll see Meldrick up to 140, Pernell staying at 135 and the like. So Meldrick will be campaigning as a junior welter.
Some body shots highlighting the early second round action now. Pernell Whitaker taking the best right now from Davey Montana.
You know, if there's one thing that these guys have learned, and it's the body work, and it looks like Whitaker has learned his lessons well and working hard on the body. And, you know, that's the best way to do it. When guys having his hands high, he working the body, he brings his elbows and hands down before you know it, the head's open, and you get some good shots up there.
Whitaker snapping Montana once again. Montana going from southpaw and switching back. But so far, Whitaker's been able to solve his opponent from Montana. Pernell Whitaker working on his 15th victory in his young career. Of course, debuted back in November on that Night of Champions when all the Olympians came out. Frank Tate and Breland won their bouts.
He'll be 20. Yeah, he'll be 24 on January 2nd. So Whitaker is certainly a man that is in the prime of his boxing career because he did fight a lot as an amateur.
As we near the end of round two, it's Pernell Whitaker firing at will against Montana. We'll be back. Coming off victories this year against Roger Mayweather, who scored that big upset over Arredondo in the super lightweight category, and Whitaker also with a victory this year over Miguel Santana. So he's starting to take on some name opposition, although this bout today against Davey Montana clearly just a tune-up as he gets ready for Jose Luis Ramirez coming up early next year.
You know, Montana, as you said, a tune-up, but certainly not a guy that you can take lightly. I mean, he's been in with the best. He's been around. He works hard and obviously in shape. And, you know, Whitaker is not showboating and obviously realizes this is a pretty serious fight, although a non-title fight for his USBA and NABF title. So Whitaker looking very sharp here, much like Ramirez did. And if these two guys look this good on March 12th back in Paris, you're going to have one heck of a BC lightweight showdown.
Pernell Whitaker continuing to work the body of Davey Montana. Peppers his face now, and now it looks like Montana here in round three is having some problems. John Lawson Humillet coming to you from Paris, France, the Omnisport Palace.
Whitaker getting some good work in, and like I said before, he's working the body real well. And as you have to learn, work the body, and the head will follow is the old cliche, and he's really working hard today. And Montana's showing a good chin because Whitaker certainly nailed him with some real nice shots. You can see when he's covered up in that midsection. As soon as he does that, you just go to the head.
Boy, Whitaker really does wind up and windmill that left, and maybe Ramirez could find a way to solve that and get inside against Whitaker. But so far, Montana just playing a defensive fight right here.
The fact that they're both left-handers and who is the best left-handed hooker or the fighter, it could come down to who has the best right hand. And right now, you would have to figure Ramirez is a little bit ahead in that regard. Because when you throw the left, the right's right, you're leaving yourself open for a shot to right. And if Ramirez whoever can pull the trigger quicker on the right in that fight could be the difference in the winning and losing.
Good observation. And you see Whitaker is a side-to-side, left-to-right fighter. Ramirez comes straight ahead. It would be an interesting clash of styles. We hit the 18-second mark here of round 3. Pernell Whitaker ahead on everybody's card. Snapping the head once again of Davey Montana, who's backed up in the corner. And we'll be back with round 4 action between Montana and Whitaker from Paris. Pernell Whitaker, Hugh, in his last several fights, not looking all that impressive. In fact, he was knocked down by Alfredo Lane. He was knocked down twice in his last 3 bouts. Came back to win, of course, because he is undefeated. But he looks very impressive today. We're in round 4 as he goes up against Davey Montana from Montana. Also fights out of Reno, Nevada.
You mentioned, John, the fact that, you know, he is such an offensive fighter that many times he leaves himself open for shots. And the best thing for Whitaker to do is work on his defense. And if nothing else, today he did show a little better defense, although Montana has landed a couple good shots. And if he doesn't improve his defense, Ramirez is going to rip this young kid. You know, you're not going in with any, you're going in with a master when you're going with Ramirez. And Whitaker's going to have to work his butt off to even get up to the level to get in the ring with Ramirez. I mean, we're high on Pernell because he's undefeated, he's an Olympic champ. But Ramirez has been in with everybody. Right now, Whitaker looks like he's landing some huge left hooks and some straight lefts, and his accuracy is very good today.
Whitaker able to pick his spots right now, and again has Montana on the ropes. And Montana with his armadillo style, it hasn't been too tough to crack for Whitaker.
Good body shots, good shot to the kidney there from Whitaker, and he's working the body well, and Montana keeping the heads high, his hands high, but pretty soon they'll be dropping, and the face is wide open, and Whitaker should work on that. You know, if Whitaker decides to go toe-to-toe with Ramirez, I think it's certainly to his disadvantage. Ramirez is a master working inside, working in close. Good lefts and rights by Whitaker. Montana trying to show a little life, but he is just literally beat up right now.
Would you say a Whitaker or a Biggs would be behind schedule, or are they pretty much where Duva wants them to be?
I think Whitaker is caught up. I think he was behind at first. I think he's caught up, and I think if you asked Lou Duva, coming out of the '84 Olympics, he would have put probably a 30 to 36-month time limit on a title shot, and almost all his guys have gotten a title except Melder Taylor. I mean, a title shot. You know, Biggs hit a shot at Tyson. He blew it. Evander's got his title, although Evander's thinking about jumping ship in the Duva camp.
And Frank Tate steps in, and right now Montana is bobbing and weaving, having some problems as Whitaker starts to wear down Davey Montana.
Montana is not only beat up, he's out of gas. And, he was very aggressive in the first couple rounds, but right now, 30, 40 punches every minute, taking a toll on Davey Montana.
Montana's classiest opposition knocked him out as he fell to John Beekins and Bobby Chacon. He's 26 years old, not that old, but clearly outclassed this afternoon.
Good standing 8.
And Pernell Whitaker told to head to his corner, and Whitaker now in the 4th round, clearly in charge as the referee takes a look, and it's going to be stopped, and that's it. Here in the 4th round, Davey Montana is finished with a cut between the eyes, and he was bobbing and staggered, and he was weaving throughout the 4th round. So Pernell Whitaker going to 15-0 in his young career.
Montana wasn't too happy with that. As you see, the referee came by and said, you've had it, and Lou Duva, the omnipresent Lou Duva, he'll probably be in the States within a couple of hours, knowing Lou, but that's it. Davey Montana gave it a good shot, good workout, and that's what you want for a non-title, pre-title bout, and both fighters got pretty good workouts.
Jose Luis Ramirez closing in on 100 victories, and Pernell Whitaker, the youngster, only 15 victories, and he gets a victory today over Davey Montana. This afternoon, Pernell Whitaker over Davey Montana. Earlier, Jose Luis Ramirez beating John Refuse, and now Ramirez and Whitaker getting set to go at it in March, Hugh. And that should be a showdown between these two impressive lightweights.
No doubt about it. Good workouts for both today, both showing that they are very serious about it. It'll be March 12th in Paris. Both men looking very good.
Coming up next, we have the Alonjade Franklin Owens fight, a replay from Thursday night at Madison Square Garden. We'll pick that fight up in just a few moments. For Hugh Millay, I'm John Losing. Thanks for watching. So long.